Okay, imagine this. Big presentation coming up, maybe even your wedding day, and all you can think about is wishing you'd finally gotten those teeth straightened. Sound familiar? You're not alone. That's why you've come to us. You want the lowdown on straightening options besides traditional braces, and you need it fast.
You've come to the right place. What's fascinating about right now is the sheer variety of alternatives to braces. It's a great time to want a smile upgrade.
Music to my ears.
Well,
So you handed us a really cool article breaking down 5 key alternatives. First up, clear aligners. Everyone's picturing Invisalign, right? But there's a whole world beyond that now.
exactly. And what's interesting here is the split between in-office and at-home options. In-office, like Invisalign, is still the way to go for complex cases. Think of your crowding bite issues. At-home's more for mild to moderate misalignment, but that covers a lot of people.
Convenience is huge too, right? Popping those aligners out to eat, dream come true for anyone who's ever gotten popcorn stuck in their braces.
Definitely. Though that reminds me, we've got to mention those at-home brands carefully. The article mentions Bite, Straight, Candid. Each has a different approach to supervision and check-ins. Some are fully remote, some have in-person scans. It's about finding what you're comfortable with.
Okay, so lots to unpack there just with aligners. But we've got to move on to our next contender. Lingual braces. I'll admit, when I first heard of these, I was like, hold on, are we talking braces, but on the inside of your teeth?
You nailed it. They're like the secret agents of braces. The article calls them undercover, which is spot on. Brackets behind your teeth mean they're practically invisible.
Sneaky. So it's all about aesthetics. Or are there hidden superpowers here I'm not seeing?
Well, the invisibility factor is huge for a lot of people, but here's where it gets really interesting. Because those brackets are custom fitted to the back of your teeth, they can actually be faster than traditional braces. The science behind it is that the wires apply force more efficiently. We're talking potentially shaving months off your treatment time.
Okay, now that's a game changer. Faster treatment, and no one can tell you're wearing braces. Sign me up. Are there any downsides?
The article did mention a potential for temporary lisps. Those brackets are right behind your tongue, so it can take some getting used to. Probably not ideal for professional singers or anyone who needs to be super clear speaking on the daily.
Makes sense. So if I'm super worried about cost, but I want that discreet look, are lingual braces the way to go?
Here's the thing. They tend to be pricier than traditional braces, even more so than Invisalign sometimes. Think $5,000 to $13,000. Customization comes at a cost, it seems.
Got it. So undercover braces are an option, but they'll cost you a pretty penny. Now, for something a bit more middle of the road, there's always ceramic braces, like regular braces, but way less noticeable, right?
Exactly. They're like chameleons of the braces world. Instead of metal, they use tooth-colored ceramic or porcelain for the brackets. Still there, but way more discreet.
Subtle style points. But the article hinted at some trade-offs. What's the catch with ceramic?
Durability is the main one. Ceramic, while good at blending in, isn't as tough as metal. The brackets can be a bit more prone to breaking, especially if you're not careful. And here's the other thing ceramic can stain. Coffee, tea, even some brightly colored foods, they can leave their mark.
So basically, if I'm a coffee fiend and generally clumsy, ceramic might not be my best bet.
It's about weighing your priorities. If discretion is key and you're committed to meticulous oral hygiene, it could still be a good fit.
All right, noted. Moving on to something totally different, dental veneers. We're not really talking straightening here, are we? This is more like a full-on smile makeover.
You hit the nail on the head. Veneers are like the red carpet treatment for your teeth. They don't actually move anything, but they cover up imperfections. Think of them like tiny custom-made shells that get bonded to the front of your teeth.
So what kind of flaws can they fix? Are we talking major overbites or more like my teeth are a bit wonky and stained situations?
Veneers are great for size, shape, and color issues. They can handle minor gaps, chips, even slight misalignments, but not major bite problems.
Huh. Okay, so more like a cosmetic upgrade than actual orthodontics. But the article did mention something about veneers being a pretty permanent decision. Once you go there, there's no going back, right?
Exactly. Unlike braces or aligners, which are temporary, veneers are considered a long-term commitment. They're designed to last for years, but they will eventually need replacing. And that's on top of the initial cost, which can be significant, especially if you're getting multiple teeth done.
Got it. Veneers sound like a fantastic option for the right person, but definitely a decision to discuss in detail with your dentist. Speaking of maintaining that perfect smile, let's talk about retainers. They often get overlooked, but they're essential for keeping that straight smile you work so hard for, right?
Retainers, They're the unsung heroes of orthodontics, for sure. People often forget about them, but trust me, they're the key to making sure all that straightening work doesn't go to waste.
It's like that saying, right? You don't run a marathon just to trip right before the finish line.
Exactly. And unfortunately, so many people end up going through braces or aligners again later in life because they didn't take their retainers seriously.
Okay, that's motivation right there. So walk us through it. What kinds of retainers are we talking about? Is it a one-size-fits-all situation?
The two main types are fixed and removable, and they each have their own pros and cons. Fixed retainers are bonded behind your teeth, completely hidden. You never have to remember to put them in, which is a huge plus for some people.
Out of sight, out of mind, but still working their magic. I
Mhm.
like it. What's the downside there?
Well, they can be a little tricky to keep clean. Flossing takes some extra effort, might need special tools to get in there, and they're not invincible. Wires can break, bonding can come loose, especially if you're a nighttime grinder or have a habit of chewing on things you shouldn't.
So regular dentist visits are still a must, even with the invisible retainer in place.
Mm, makes sense. What about the removable ones? Those seem pretty popular.
They are. Think clear plastic, almost like Invisalign trays, but just for maintaining your alignment. They're custom made to fit your teeth snugly, and you take them out to eat, drink, brush, all that good stuff.
Convenience is a big plus, especially after months of dealing with braces or aligners. But if you're not wearing them 24/7, doesn't it leave room for error? Like, what if I forget? You're hitting on the biggest challenge with removable retainers consistency. Life gets hectic, you get out of your routine, and suddenly those retainers are gathering dust in a drawer. Trust me, I've seen it happen.
Okay, so how do we combat retainer amnesia?
Mhm.
Asking for a friend.
First and foremost, remember this isn't just about looks, it's about the health of your teeth and bite. That alone should be motivation. But practically speaking, make it a habit. Link it to something you already do without fail. Brushing your teeth. Retainer goes in right after. Set reminders on your phone. Keep the case somewhere you can't miss it.
So it's all about building that habit and sticking to it.
Got it. Now I've got to ask any other cool tech on the horizon in the world of teeth straightening. What's next level beyond all this?
You're speaking my language. One thing that's absolutely fascinating right now is the role of artificial intelligence in orthodontics. Whoa, AI. Like robots designing my braces? That sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie.
Almost. We're not quite at the robot dentist stage yet, but AI is already making a huge impact. For instance, some AI software can analyze your dental scans and actually predict how likely your teeth are to shift back after treatment, even factoring in things like your bite force.
Wait, seriously, it's like having a crystal ball for your teeth. That's incredible and kind of mind-blowing.
Right. And it's not just about predictions. AI can help create more precise treatment plans, customize those plans based on your specific needs, even potentially shorten treatment times.
Okay, AI, I see you. So cool to know that even beyond these already amazing alternatives, there's more innovation on the way.
Absolutely. It's a really exciting time to be thinking about a smile transformation. The options keep getting better and more personalized.
You said it. Now, before we wrap up our deep dive into straighter smiles, I want to circle back to something the article mentioned that really resonated with me. Sometimes, braces are still the best option, even with all these cool alternatives.
It's true. Braces have been around for ages, and there's a reason they're still the gold standard for certain cases. They're workhorses.
So for our listeners out there who might be thinking, cool, I can skip the braces, when would you say sticking with the classics is actually the smarter move?
It boils down to complexity. Severe crowding, bite issues that go beyond just the teeth themselves, skeletal problems. Those are situations where traditional braces often offer the most predictable, effective treatment.
So while clear aligners are amazing for many, they don't have unlimited power.
Exactly. Sometimes you need the controlled force and precision that only brackets and wires can provide.
Okay, good to know. Now, I'm sure the million-dollar question for many people is cost. How do braces stack up against these alternatives, price-wise?
It really depends. The article mentioned that braces typically cost somewhere between $2,000 and $7,000, while Invisalign, the most well-known clear aligner brand, can be in that same range, from $3,000 to $8,000.
So no clear winner there. It's more about individual factors influencing the final price.
You got it. Severity of your case, where you live, the orthodontist you choose, insurance coverage, all those things play a role. And don't forget about those at-home aligners. Those tend to be on the lower end of the spectrum, often under $2,300.
Okay, good to keep those in mind for sure, especially for listeners who are budget conscious. But as you said earlier, it's always best to get a personalized quote from an orthodontist to know exactly what you're looking at.
Absolutely. Don't just go by those ballpark figures. Get a professional opinion tailored to your situation.
Now let's be real for a second. Braces have a bit of a reputation for being, shall we say, less than fun to live with. The article didn't shy away from that. What are some of the reasons someone might choose an alternative, even if their case could be treated with braces?
That's a fair point. Just because you can doesn't always mean you should. For starters, braces can be uncomfortable, especially at first. Those brackets and wires take some getting used to.
I can only imagine. I vividly remember getting my braces tightened as a kid and not being able to eat solid food for a week.
It's a rite of passage for many of us. And then there's the food factor. Braces are notorious for trapping food, which can be a little embarrassing and make it tougher to maintain good oral hygiene.
Okay, yeah, that's the downside for sure. No one wants to be picking broccoli out of their teeth all day long.
Right. And finally, while it's less common, braces can sometimes lead to enamel wear if you're not super diligent about keeping them clean.
So those are all valid concerns, and I think it speaks to the importance of having an open and honest conversation with your dentist or orthodontist.
100%. They're your partners in this journey, and they can help you weigh the pros and cons of each option based on your unique needs and lifestyle.
It's like choosing the right pair of shoes.
All right.
You wouldn't wear hiking boots to a fancy dinner party, and you wouldn't necessarily want traditional braces if a minor tweak is all you need.
I love that analogy. It's about finding the option that fits your life, your comfort level, and your smile goals. And just like with shoes, there are different styles, brands, and price points to consider.
Exactly. It's not a one-size-fits-all situation.
It's about finding what makes you feel confident and ready to flash that smile with pride.
Beautifully said. So for our listeners who are just starting their journey to straighter teeth, what's the most important piece of advice you can offer?
Don't be afraid to ask questions. Knowledge is power, especially when it comes to your health. Talk to your dentist, explore your options, and don't be afraid to advocate for what feels right for you.
I love that. And on that note, let's move on to our final thoughts on this deep dive into straighter smiles. Going through all of this, it really highlights how much the world of orthodontics has changed, even in just the last few years.
It's mind-boggling, isn't it? We've come a long way from those clunky metal braces. Those felt like a mouthful of hardware.
Right. Now you can straighten your teeth practically in secret, or have those high-tech aligners delivered right to your doorstep. It's incredible how accessible these treatments are becoming.
It's like we're democratizing orthodontics. People have more power than ever to take charge of their smiles. And that's a beautiful thing.
I totally agree. So for someone just starting to think about straighter teeth, what's the best first step? Where do you even begin with all these choices?
Honestly, the most crucial step is the simplest one. Start a conversation. Find a dentist or orthodontist you trust. Schedule a consultation. And don't hold back on the questions.
I think a lot of people hesitate to even do that because they're worried about being judged or pushed into something they're not ready for.
I get that. But a good dental professional should leave you feeling empowered, not pressured. They're there to listen to your concerns, assess your needs, and clearly explain all your options, not just push one solution.
So finding the right provider, someone
No.
you click with, is just as important as the treatment itself.
Absolutely. It's a partnership.
Yeah.
And good communication is key. Orthodontics isn't a one-size-fits-all thing. The best approach is the one tailored to your life, your budget, your goals.
That makes perfect sense. And I imagine it's wise to be realistic about what's achievable and what kind of commitment you're ready to make.
100%. Whether it's braces, aligners, or something else, any orthodontic treatment takes dedication. There might be some discomfort, especially early on. You'll need to be on top of things like wearing your aligners as instructed, keeping your teeth sparkling clean, showing up for appointments. It's a journey.
Right. It's not always going to be fun and games. But then again,
Yeah.
but worthwhile transformation is.
Exactly. There might be some bumps in the road. But when you reach that destination, a healthier, more confident smile, it's so worth it. The impact goes way beyond just your teeth.
So true. Now, as we wrap up our deep dive into the world of straighter smiles, I want to leave our listeners with one final thought-provoking question.
I love those. Hit me with it.
We've talked about all this incredible technology transforming smiles. But what if the most powerful transformation isn't about the tech itself, but about the self-confidence and self-acceptance it unlocks?
Wow, you just hit on something really profound. It's easy to get caught up in chasing some ideal of perfection, but true beauty comes from within.
Exactly. And maybe, just maybe, going through the process of improving our smiles, no matter which method we choose, can spark a journey of self-discovery and personal growth
Hmm.
that goes way deeper than just our teeth.
I love that perspective. It's about embracing our individuality, celebrating the quirks that make us us, and realizing that true confidence shines brightest when we feel comfortable in our own skin and our own smiles.
Beautifully said. So it's not just about straighter teeth. It's about a straighter path to self-love and embracing the power of a genuine, confident smile.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And remember, your smile is a powerful tool for connection and joy, so share it generously with the world.
What a fantastic message to end on. That wraps up our deep dive into the world of straighter smiles. We hope you've enjoyed the journey and learned some valuable insights along the way.
Thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure diving into this topic with you.
The pleasure was all ours. And to our listeners, remember, knowledge is power. Keep asking questions, exploring your options, and never stop sharing that amazing smile with the world.